Good afternoon. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call to order this formal meeting of the Northern Michigan University Board of Trustees Finance Committee. Present are all committee members, Trustee Greg Sepinen, Trustee Missy Holmquist. Did I see Missy? Yes, I see Missy. Trustee Bridget LaPointe Dunham, and ex officio members, NMU Board Chairman Steve Young and President Brock Tessman. Hello, everyone. The purpose of this meeting today is to review a presentation on the tuition and fees structure from Vice President Gavin Leach, and discuss the proposed tuition and fee recommendation for fiscal year 2024. Gavin, I'm going to let you take it away from here.
Thank you, Chair Hart. Welcome, everybody. Yeah, we're going to walk through a presentation on the budget for planned budget for next year, as well as a tuition recommendation that will be associated with it. See if I can get it up on the screen now. It was working earlier. Is it showing up on your end?
I don't see it, Gavin. I see you, and I see the screen in the boardroom.
All right, let me try that one more time.
The day for technical difficulties, I think.
Oh shoot, oh, that passcode. Yep.
We'll get it. I don't think it's on the agenda.
Oh, there it is.
You got it? Okay.
Did you get it, Gavin? You got it?
Yeah.
All right. Should have shared the screen right when I did that.
I'll let you know when we see it come up.
Okay. Oh, Kathy, you got to let me back in on this share screen.
We see it, Gavin.
All right, perfect. Okay. Not like having a little technical delay to start. So anyway, yeah, first up, we're going to walk through the budget. Let me just make it a little bigger. The first part of this budget is our state budget. It's $2.6 billion for higher education altogether. That includes public universities and community colleges. And the current higher ed budget funding model consists of across the board increases. Now there's some per student funding floors built in, and Native American tuition waiver funding. Other items being considered in this year's budget include one-time allocations for MEPSers, item funding, and several other items. All three budgets do include tuition restraint language, which is normally around 2 times CPI, or about 4.5% this year, or $338 per semester. Just to note is Northern does remain second lowest in tuition fees right now, and we are one of 7 MEPSers universities in the state of Michigan. Last year, we had to pay down about $28 million from the state on the unfunded liability, and we continue to pursue that as we go forward. As we look at the 3 budgets that have been passed so far, the exec budget and the House budget had identical base appropriation increases at $2.2 million for NMU. The Senate budget came in slightly higher at 6%. There were some one-time adjustments and quite a few of the budgets, from just a flat out one-time appropriation for operations, some funding for MEPSers, some item funding, which is infrastructure, technology, equipment, and maintenance dollars. That was in both the exec and the Senate. Campus safety and wellness, as well as some potential funding to assist Finlandia students. All 3 versions had tuition restraints set at 4.5%. or $338 per semester, whichever one of those is higher. For planning purposes, as we were looking at the budget, we were just moving with the executive budget at this point. We are hoping this budget will be completed sometime by the end of June as they move through the process. There's several undecided items that they haven't completed, and so we're waiting to hear on those. But using the baseline of the executive budget, we felt was appropriate at this point.
Hey, Gavin,
Yes,
quick question for you, and I know you've given me the answer before, but I forgot. It says base appropriation plus ITW. What does ITW stand for again?
Native American Indian
That-
tuition waiver.
Okay.
Yeah, so as we have students to go through, there's a treaty with the state, and then they reimburse us for the dollars for an appropriation.
Thank you.
As we look at the revenue assumptions, then assuming the executive budget, we looked at it in a way as what would we need to cover our baseline expenditures. There's the 2% or the 4% from the state appropriation and the exec budget, as well as there's some additional recognized dollars in the state appropriation that were unclear at the end of last year that we're building in this year. Tuition and fees, we need about $138 per semester to cover our base level expenditures before any key investments. And then with that, we adjust financial aid to address any tuition increase, which would result in an overall change in base revenues of about $3.4 million. As we look at the expenditure side, the primary driver on expenses is personnel costs. It's about $2 million, and that includes the MOU with the TOPS we did this year, as well as the contractual adjustments we have built into our agreements. We also have inflationary costs for supplies, materials, and supported designated operations. They come in about $700,000 for those. Includes academic lab supplies for chemistry, nursing, and biology, as well as contractual professional development for contractual travel out of the UP contract, university liability insurance coverage, and other travel cost coverage for admissions, athletics, and other areas that, with the high cost of travel going up this past year. The equipment, library, reserves, and maintenance. Again, these are inflationary adjustments, capital equipment. We're upping it by 100,000 as we have a plan to reach $1 million over the next 4 years in ongoing replacement. We have a $50,000 increase in library acquisitions, primarily the digital library acquisitions. And we have other increases in costs for deferred maintenance of about 170,000 a year. And finally, in utilities, we have an overall increase of $200,000. That's about 3%. And that includes the offset from savings we expect from the Jacobetti complex with the reduction in square footage in that facility. So overall, $3.4 million in expenditure adjustments, which would be balanced out if you look at the 138 per semester. Now there's some key investments that we're proposing to include in the budget this year, and they really fall into they're really supportive of the new pillars under the administrative realignment plan that President Tessman put forward, realigning pillars into people, culture, and well-being, Northern student experience, student affairs and success, and then the original pillars of finance administration, academic affairs. These all work to these include, as part of that, we've included direct investments in removing barriers to student access, enhancing campus well-being and experience and student safety, enhancing academic programming, enrollment staffing, and supporting new technology development, community outreach, as well as enhancing and protecting the overall university infrastructure. And you can see that the primary things we're investing in are removing student barriers, about $799,000. That includes the new tuition advantage program that we put forward, which when combined with Pell and the Michigan Achievement Scholarship, it would result in $0 tuition dollars for Michigan students that meet those qualifications. We have Bridge Award funding, which is really creating a greater access for non-resident students, which are becoming a larger and larger percentage of our population on campus, as well as additional need-based funding for just ongoing students. We're matching up to what we're investing into the tuition advantage program. And then another one that's really come to light recently is removing the barrier of students applying to the university, try to enhance the number of applications the university gets. And over a 2-year period, we'll eliminate the application fee. And in the area of grad assistance, this puts in place a 3 meal plan for our grad students, as well as access to athletic events, as that's been a primary concern of those that President Tessman and I met with the graduate student group and felt that this was an appropriate direction to go to support them. In the area of campus well-being, student experience and safety, we're investing in student wellness and health promotions through a new case manager, as well as a health promotions coordinator. We're making investments to support childcare initiatives for faculty and staff, as well as students. And we're doing programming in new spaces for the students and sort of enhancing that student experience in the academic mall area on the main floor of the Hardin Hall, which is something the students have been talking about for a while. And this helps start to put some money in place that we could fund it over a period of time and really up the environment for the students in that space. We're also making investments in athletics, which also helps us comply with the NCAA Title IX compliance. And in public safety, we're ensuring we have 2 officers on duty at all times during the day and week, and as well as a dispatcher to ensure that we have coverage throughout the 24 hours. And I see Steve Young has his hand up. Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah. Thank you, Chair Hart. Hey, Gavin, how are we doing on the tuition advantage program? Are there any new numbers that we've got? I know when you gave us some earlier, they were pretty strong. So
we had 68 originally, and we're up to 157 in that program. So that was quite a jump from, I think, the last time we talked to you. So that's really going strong. Much better than we had expected. Yeah, 68 was our target. So I guess we overachieved on that one pretty well. And it could still grow yet until the end of August on that one. So pretty popular. Yeah. Anything else on that, Steve? Sort of lost him up there.
I think he's good.
Okay, and then
yeah. Oh, good. Sorry, I was on mute. Sorry.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem. And then also in enhancing academic programming, we have a speech language pathology program. It's year 2 of funding, adding a faculty position. In the area of social work, as part of an accreditation request for support of a position. Cybersecurity is an area that's been growing on campus, and there was a position approved back in 2019 that they're ready to fill now. And we have 2 admissions counselors we added last year with a target of 18 new students. And obviously that keeps going up with a number of programs that we put in place. So we'll achieve that. And supporting new technology development, community outreach, there's a lot of demand on software development on campus. And one big area is the ESP program, which helps support our retention programs. And we've added an additional developer in that area. And supporting a position that was half grant funded, transitioning to full university funding since the grant is ending at the end of this year. And the final piece is enhancing and protecting our infrastructure. And this is really about the need to continue to invest in long-term maintenance and renewal of capital on campus with the construction costs and other just systems costs for our facilities. That cost keeps rising, and this is trying to ensure that we keep catching up and maintain our facilities appropriately. These combined initiatives will be about $2.7 million. As a percentage of our overall current budget, that would equate to about 2.3%. So when you take that combined with our base base of inflationary cost increases, it results in us recommending an increase of $338 per semester in our resident undergraduate tuition fees. So our rate would go from $6,507 per semester to $6,845 per semester. And the one caveat we put on there is, should the tuition cap be lowered in the final state budget, that we would lower it to ensure we're in compliance with any changes in the tuition restraint language by the state. With all three being at the same tuition restraint language, we don't expect that to occur, but we just want to ensure that we have that in there. And finally, a little bit of the detail on the proposed rate increases. You can see the upper and lower division adjustments, as well as adjustments to grad tuition, student athletic fees, student rec pass, and some differential tuition rates. On the grad adjustment, there were some minor changes that Kathy put in your materials earlier, just prior to the board meeting, that didn't affect the rate of increase, but the starting and ending number were actually lowered on the grad accounts. So anyway, that concludes sort of the discussion of the budget and the initiatives that we want to put in place, as well as what proposed tuition adjustment we're recommending. I don't know, Brock, did you want to add anything at this point?
No, Gavin, I think you did a great job. I'm happy to answer questions, but I think we're where we need to be.
All right, thank you. Chair Hart, I turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Vice President Leach. Just looking this over, I'm really happy about, the different aspects that we're taking into account as we look towards our investments. I think, as you noted, they're heavily aligned with our strategic pillars that have been set forth. It's obviously, again, never taken lightly when we have to look at raising tuition. At the same time, being one of the lowest providers of tuition fees in the state. I think it just continues to kind of increase that gap for us with the other universities. And I think the work that you and the team have done is excellent. Obviously, the general funding, I think it's $3.3 million in total, you mentioned, with salary adjustments and inflation are obviously needed, and the investments, especially, when we look at the, campus well-being and safety, is also extremely critical, as are all of the others. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
So with that, I would like to ask for a motion to bring the tuition and fee rate adjustments to the full board. Greg?
Yes, Chair, I'd like to go ahead and make a motion. I recommend that we approve the proposed fiscal year 2023-2024 tuition and fee rates as follows. Average resident and non-resident undergraduate tuition and fee rate increase of $338 per semester, which is comprised of resident and non-resident lower division rate increase of $328 per semester, resident and non-resident upper division rate increase of $346 per semester, one-time student athletic increase of $8, extension online undergraduate tuition and fee rate increase be the same as the on-campus rate increase, graduate tuition rate increase of $33 per credit, student recreational pass fee, which is refundable, increase of $5 per semester. The differential tuition increases business, music, natural science, and TOS, $1 per credit, and the clinical lab science and nursing, $2 per credit. And should the tuition cap be lowered in the final fiscal year 2023-2024 state budget, it is also our recommendation that the board authorize the administration to adjust the tuition and fees accordingly to remain in compliance.
Thank you, Trustee Sepinen. Do I have a second? Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Hey,
Steve?
Yeah, Chair Hart, just one question to Gavin. This caveat that we put in there, just so I fully understand, the caveat would be that if these numbers go down, we would adjust our numbers downward. They wouldn't be adjusted upward. They would be adjusted downward.
That is correct.
Thank you.
And Gavin, when will we have final confirmation on that?
Yeah, we would probably need to make what we were asking is for the board, if we need to move it downward to just allow us to go ahead and implement that.
Okay,
That's how we've done it in the past when the final state budget hasn't been settled at the time of setting tuition.
okay, very good. Any other discussion? Okay. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
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 Motion passes. Good. Thank you very much, everyone, and look forward to seeing you in a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and adjourn this formal meeting of the Northern Michigan Board of Trustees Finance Committee, and it is 3:23 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call this June 20th special formal session of the Northern Michigan University Board of Trustees to order. And at this time, I would call on Secretary Andrew to take the roll, please.
Trustee Young,
Present.
trustee Hart,
Here.
trustee Fatante,
Here.
trustee Sepinen,
Here,
trustee Holmquist,
Here.
trustee Lapointe Dunham,
Here.
trustee Lindberg,
here,
trustee Toutant.
Here,
We have a quorum with all trustees present.
Thank you, Secretary Andrew. At this time, I'd like to go to agenda item 3, which is committee reports. And we'll call on Vice Chair Hart, who is also Chair of the Finance Committee, to give us a report on that recent committee meeting.
Thank you, Chair Young. The meeting of the Finance Committee of the Board of Trustees of Northern Michigan University convened today at 3 p.m., Tuesday, June 20th, 2023. Via Zoom video conference was myself, Chair of the Finance Committee. Also present at the meeting were members of the Finance Committee, Board of Trustee members, and Finance and Administration Division staff. Although trustees were present at the meeting, only committee members participated in the meeting. The committee reviewed the proposed 2023-2024 tuition and fee rates and is recommending to the board that the following be approved. Average resident and non-resident undergraduate tuition and fee rate increases of $338 per semester. This is comprised of resident and non-resident lower division rate increase of $328 per semester, and a resident and non-resident upper division rate increase of $346 per semester, a one-time student athletic fee increase of $8, extension of online undergraduate tuition and fee rate increase to be the same as the on-campus rate increase, a graduate tuition rate increase of $33 per credit, a student recreational pass fee that is refundable to increase $5 per semester, differential tuition increases, one for the business, music, natural sciences, and TOS of $1 per credit. The clinical lab sciences and nursing, $2 per credit. This is with the caveat that should the tuition cap be lowered in the final fiscal year 2023-2024 state budget, it is also recommended that the board authorizes the administration to adjust tuition and fees accordingly to remain in compliance. The meeting adjourned at 3:23 p.m.
Thank you, Trustee Hart, Vice Chair Hart. I'm assuming your motion would begin where you get into the specifics of the recommendation. Is that when the motion would start, or do you want to restate it? However you want to do it. It's fine.
Are you asking for a motion?
Yes.
I'd like to recommend on the recommendation of the Board of Trustees Finance Committee that we move for approval of the administration's recommendation on tuition and fee rates for fiscal year 2024 as presented to and as presented by the Finance Committee.
and I support that.
Thank you. We've got a second. We got a motion and a second. Thank you, Chair Hart. At this point in time, is there a discussion on the motion?
Maybe a few comments from my side. First of all, I want to thank the Finance Committee as well as the administration, for their efforts in putting together what I think is very thoughtful of the sensitivity we have when we do increase tuition. We need to continue to make the continued investments in our academic programming, as well as our strategic initiatives that are focused around student well-being, as well as campus safety. And I know that with the overall general fund budget increases as well, this will allow us to kind of keep up from the inflationary perspectives and meet our contractual obligations for our salary increases. So I think it's great that, you know, we're still able to offer some of the most affordable tuition in the state of Michigan. I guess as many of us have been aware in the past, we do have, you know, tuition restraint language that we need to be very mindful of, as we don't want to continue to increase, you know, too much of a gap between ourselves and the other universities. And we can continue to provide the quality academic programming and services to our employees and students.
Thank you, Trustee Hart. Very, very well put. Any other discussion? Well, it's a quiet group today. I don't see any, and I don't see any hands or any hands being raised, but I just would like to echo what Chair Hart said about the work of Gavin and his team, Brock, of course, in helping put this together. And also to Trustee Hart and the Finance Committee for looking at this and bringing us a proposal that I think is very fair. It's never easy to do this. I think, as Trustee Hart pointed out, we do have several new board members here. And this is always a very difficult and deliberate decision on our part. And I think this year we've got some good momentum going with our new president, and some renewed energy and enthusiasm. And hopefully what we're doing here today will help further a lot of those efforts that are going on right now all over campus and in the community in general. So thank you, Brock, and to your team, and Gavin, and to your team for bringing us this proposal. Okay, there's no further discussion. I would call on Secretary Andrew to take a roll call vote on the motion that's been presented.
Please indicate with yay or no. Trustee Young,
Yes.
Trustee Hart,
Yes.
Trustee Fatante,
Yes.
Trustee Sepinen,
Yes.
Trustee Holmquist,
Yes.
Trustee LaPointe Dunham,
Yes.
Trustee Lindberg,
Yes.
Trustee Toutant.
Yes.
The motion carries with 8-4-0 against.
Thank you, everyone. We'll now move on to agenda item 5, which are formal recommendations. I would at this time call for a motion to approve those formal recommendations as presented.
Chair Young, I'll make a motion to approve the formal recommendations as presented.
Thank you, Trustee Holmquist. Is there a second?
I'll support.
Thank you, Trustee LaPointe Dunham. Since there is no discussion on this in this agenda item, I would ask Secretary Andrew to take the roll, please.
Please indicate with yay or no. Trustee Young,
Yes.
Trustee Hart,
Yes.
Trustee Fatante,
Yes.
Trustee Sepinen,
Yes.
Trustee Holmquist,
Yes.
Trustee LaPointe Dunham,
Yes.
Trustee Lindberg,
Yes.
Trustee Toutant.
Yes.
Motion carries with 8-4-0 against.
Thank you, everyone. And that concludes the formal agenda for this session. And there being no further business that I can see to come before the board, and without objection, I would move that this meeting stand adjourned. Thank you.